Hello, welcome to Furious Driving. It is a Mercedes day. Well, another Mercedes day in a long list of many Mercedes days. You see, yes, after the last fortnight of torrential rain where you can even leave the house without a snorkel. In fact, that's not a great analogy, because if you left a house with a snorkel in the rain, you would drown because the snorkel would just fill with rain immediately from above. Okay, you couldn't leave without a big umbrella and a wetsuit. That's a better analogy. Anyway, right, so today I've got a plan. The plan is to cut out this rusty inner wing and put on an exciting new inner wing, which is surprisingly not quite as big a panel as I thought it was going to be. However, in the meantime, I have zinc primed on the inside, so when it goes on, it's got a chance of not rusting out within the first couple of days. Secondly, let's put it up there. And once that's on, hopefully today I'll have time to plate in some of this missing metal down in the bottom corner down there, because the inner arch is rough. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll wait until the outer arch is on. I'll see how it goes. This is very much a moving feast. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan as far as it goes. It is, as you can tell, on the chilly side, heavily on the misty side. I actually came out here about an hour ago, took one look at the thick mist, couldn't see the car from the doorway to here, went back inside, sent some emails and stuff instead. This is definitely going to be a mini coffee morning. By the way, do you like the new P6 mugs? These are on the Furious Driving store, furiousdriving.co.uk. We've also got Rover badge mugs, we've got Crown Vic mugs, a new bunch of stickers and keyrings and other things as well. So head over to furiousdriving.co.uk, because that is what helps keep this kind of stuff moving along. Right, I'm going to get uncomfortable with an angle grinder. Oh, right, I just flicked on the Mercedes to see what the temperature is, and it says 6.5 degrees centigrade, which is very chilly. Never have I been more happy, more cheerful to put on a pair of work gloves to keep it a bit warm. The plan now, despite my significant lack of motivation, is first of all to cut back this outer wing a bit more, so that I've got somewhere, or some more clearance basically, just to work with. I've decided, having spoken to various people, that the best thing to do is going to be to actually, my original plan, cut along this line here, which is behind this trim, so I can disguise the weld when I've done it. I'm going to cut it at the bottom, because I'm probably going to try and joddle it as well, which means lap weld it rather than butt weld it. It's a bit stronger, it's a bit easier. I'm also going to lap weld this inner part as well for strength there, because I could like a double weld. I have more chance of not screwing up. So first of all, let us begin. So I'm wearing I'm wearing in-ear headphones for noise protection, and I've got goggles on. Oh, I'm going very off the line here. This old Mercedes steel is so thick, really hard to cut through. Oh, that was close. There was a pneumatic line behind there, which I thought I tucked away last time I was doing this, and guess what? It had swung back very close to where I was cutting. Okie doke, so to line this up, we've got 3 little pressed stud areas which can be used as datum points to line this all up. Well, 2 of them still exist on the car, well, 2 and a bit, so we can use this to line this up. We've also got a strengthening point here, so we have to cut around that into here. But first of all, let's line up this against that, work out where we stand there, and then mark up on here where this comes to. Oops, surprisingly harder to actually do this than you might think. Got another mounting point just there as well. Alright, so there's going to have to be some cutting on both sides. So I was hoping to keep this thing as one piece, but obviously I need these strengthening mounting points to remain as part of the structure of the car. So, right, let's have an idea of where we're going with this. So as to know where the rust is in terms of that. So that's how far the rust comes down. So I need to not cut or trim out that bit there so that can go around that. I think what I might do is cut it cut it along here, just below those solid bits there, and then yeah, just put a clean edge to it down there and try and figure it out from that. Okay, probably going to regret this, but hey, what the heck, because that turn, this turn here, is actually pretty solid metal just there. Now this does look absolutely terrifying looking at it in this frilly state, but the thing is, because once it's back to a straight edge, it won't look so bad. I've actually just put a couple of datum points in this. Oh yeah, we've got a datum just there because that's that straight edge to there. Because once these holes have been cut off, we're not going to have anything to register it to. So straight down from there is just there. That one there. Okay, so we can line up against the ABC just there. Right, okay, now this edge is where it gets tricky because there's nothing there. There's just no metal to go back to. I think I have to jack the wheel up, jack the car up and take the wheel off at this point. The pile of blue Draper things is increasing significantly, although you can see this blue jack is actually slightly red now after I got a bit of overspray on it last time we were out here. All these things, the impact wrenches, the impact sockets, the welder, everything else, it's all linked on the Amazon affiliate store. Anything you buy on there, a few pennies do come back to the channel, which helps keep things going and makes so we can buy repair panels for Mercedes and the like. Right, okay, fresh blade, so I can actually get some movement in there. I do with the light really because I can't see a blooming thing, but let's just get in there and trim this flat. Oh, okay, mate. That looks less terrifying, now it's got a flat edge on it. There we go, significantly tidier. It looks a lot less terrifying without the raggedy edge on it. Easy access to the boot, so when you get your luggage out, that's really quite simple these days. Now let's line up the other repair panel and try and work out a line to cut on that too. Okay, right now I've made my line of roughly where I think this is going to be, so either this is going to work perfectly and I'm going to be zapping on the car fairly soon, or I'm going to be buying a new one of these. Now fortunately I have been buying the odd D20 battery every now and then. If anyone wants to get me for Christmas, D20 batteries, because so useful having plenty of them around. Now as you can see, I am cutting well inside the line, so if I need to move out I can take a bit more off. You can't put it back again, at least not without the welder. I'm doing enough welding as it is, we're adding more to my job. Right, let's see how this lines up now. Right, let's see how this lines up now. Now I have got a bit of a gap down here. This is my own mistake because when I first went in I thought I'd be cutting this back to the seam just here. This is a very strong point as it goes. I'm not, obviously, with hindsight. I'm going to grind this clean. I'm going to make this not rusty so I can cut to that. Weld to that. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Well, if you like randomly grinding bits of metal, you are now in for a treat, because I'm now going to be randomly grinding more bits of metal. Because here is the wire brush attachment, so I can start getting this cleaned up back to good metal. So it's ready to weld. We're going to do an exciting weldy bit. There's a lot of very thick under seal stuff on here. I've got to take this all back because this is going to catch fire and it's not going to weld. Honestly, I'd rather be taking back rust than this stuff. Okay, so this is a really hard thing to clamp in place, so the magnets are really awkward to get onto. You can't really put clamps on there. So what I've done is I've drilled a few holes and then used screws to clamp it really tight to each other. So hopefully that will be enough to keep it nice and tight in place, to get a few tack cords on there, and at least get things started and see if I'm doing the right thing or not. I can't really check this properly, but I just want to give an idea of whether or not this is going to be anywhere close to where it's meant to be. And yeah, that's about half a finger or finger width difference. That's about half a finger width difference. So we're probably in about the right place. And by the time this is tacked in, we'll probably be all right. Gonna call that probably okay. It's actually quite nice. It's got a bit brighter now, and it's also almost completely windless, so there's a better chance of welding this properly. That doesn't help. It's quite cold today, so it's masking up in the sky. But this is stuff I haven't tried yet. This is the chipped it. The idea is that we'll dunk the tip in there, and it stops the tip getting on third and left up. Probably, don't I? I can't actually see now. The mask is so lifted up I can't see a thing. I've lost my gloves. Let's see how we go with that. I'm going to have to go upside down now. This is going to take quite a while. So there we have it. For the first time in a long time, we've got a proper inner sill. We've got a proper inner wing. Actual complete solid metal. It's really very well in there. I've used welding on both sides, front and back, where it's overlapped, so it's pretty well in place. Now we just need to do the end point here, end sill and the end of the door panel up here, and also this little closing panel down here. The floor area we'll come back to on another day. I feel quite proud enough of doing what I've done so far. Now, is a repair job even a repair job without a bit of old cardboard aided design? Mind your fingers when you're trimming the metal out, because it's awfully sharp. So after a few minutes of cutting, bending and shaping, I do actually have something which looks roughly like the same shape and size as the hole I'm hoping to cover. I just need to bend that in a little bit more. That could do with being stronger. Back to the old weldathon again. I'm really glad I discovered this head thing in the bag with this welder mask, because it means you don't get splutters all over your face and your neck, which is so relaxing. Okay, that is now solidly plated on the inside. Needs a bit of grinding back to make it look a bit tidier, but other than that, we're all good. Now I just need to wind you back a bit, do the same thing on this little corner here. There's a bit to finish on down there, but we'll wait until we've got the outer edge on. We'll do that all as one job at the end. Right, let's get this thing. So I'm going to go from that wide down to that wide. A little triangle, simple triangle like that. How hard can that be? Well, the weather is definitely clouding over. It's starting to feel a bit less pleasant being out here, but quite cool in fact. So fortunately we've only got one weld left to do, and that is my little triangle cut down into this corner. So let's get this done. Now I did just film the sign off bit a second ago before I did this bit. So if you look at the sign off bit in 2 seconds and wonder why it's red now and not red in a moment, that will be the reason. Don't want to get red paint anymore over my nice jack there. Let's try and get this rust neutralising under seal over as much of the metalwork, the new metal, as possible. And once it's all dried off, I will be putting seam sealer over it, so it looks like I know what I'm doing. I mean, it does rust proof it as well, but you know, it hides how bad my welding is, which is the main priority, obviously. This stuff, in case you're wondering what I'm using, is the MDS Europe Rust Neutralising Primer. Same people who do the Bulldog BDX. I've got a lot of time for their products. They seem to be astonishingly good. Like designed for like real heavy industry, so bozos like me rattle around in the driveway. It really is very lightweight compared to what this stuff's actually capable of. You know, the best thing about doing a job like this is put the video out and wait for everyone to tell me what I've done wrong for the next couple of weeks. Always good fun. Ah, multicoloured trousers. This green, if you're interested, that's the colour of my office now. This red is the colour of the floor of this car. Ah, well, there you go. Today really does feel like we made some actual progress on this car. Come on, turn. It's a two-handed job, that. Yeah, today does feel like we made some real progress on this thing. And we're getting very, very close to having an actual car we can actually drive. That does look less scary now, doesn't it? So there we go. We've finally got a complete inner wing on this car. Oh, it's still quite warm. So next time we'll go on for the outer wing, which means cutting away more of this outer panel, tacking this inner wing to the outer wing and getting a complete thing. Hopefully that won't take too long. It's just gonna be a lot of lining up carefully and then measuring once and cutting twice and that kind of thing, just to make sure it all looks good. And then once we've done that, then we've got a third day of just buttoning up all the random extra little rusty holes across the boot floor and the edge down that bottom of that sill, that kind of stuff, which is all going to be entertaining to do, I'm sure. But anyway, we are nearly there. This car is getting dangerously close to being solid and not full of holes. Then I'll need to go and buy a new front wing, and those are quite expensive. It's a couple £100 for one of those. Get that new bonnet, which you can't see out of shot, painted up to match along with the new wing, and also this wing as well. Underseal everything, change the brakes to every component on the brake system. Redo the temporary fix I did on the fuel line. Put the interior back in. Change tyres, new wheels. I think these ones are a bit rusty. Yeah, there's one or two things left to do. We're very, very close to getting this car actually running on the road. If you've enjoyed this, as always, please do hit like and definitely hit subscribe, because getting awfully close to that 100,000 subs mark, and that's a big deal for a YouTube channel like this one. Then we can really start growing and doing even bigger and better projects. Well, bigger and better than this, who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching, and join me again next time. Well, I was going to say doing something completely different, but we're probably going to be hammering bits of metal into another car. Oh, thank you for watching, and goodbye.